Well, it's great to be here with you, Kirk, in front of this giant high school crowd.
Good to be here with you as well. I appreciate all the support. Sounds like we have a lot of Spartan fans out in the crowd. All right, go green.
All right, Kirk, just a few questions from you. So, what's the biggest piece of advice you have for young athletes aspiring to make it big in their sport?
The biggest piece of advice I have for athletes aspiring to make it big in their sport, I think it's very important as an athlete to remember that while sports are a big part of your life and it's a big part of what you do, it's not your identity. It's not who you are at the end of the day. And I think it's helped me tremendously, even as a professional athlete now, to understand that playing football and playing quarterback, it's what I do, but it's not who I am. And one day football is going to end, and my life's going to be about so much more than just how many touchdown passes did I throw and did we beat Michigan and things like that. So it's so important that it's not everything to you, and it doesn't become your God, your everything. And when you give sports its proper place, which is what you do, and you work hard at it, I think you end up actually playing better because the pressure is off of you, and it's not wrapped up in your identity, and you're able to be free to be the best player you can possibly be. And so that's what I would encourage anybody who's striving to go as far as they can in their sport, to keep it in its proper place and to not make it the number one thing in your life, but to make it an important thing that's what you do, but not who you are.
Now, about a decade ago, you were in the position of a lot of these young student athletes. Several of them prepare for the next step in college. What is the biggest thing maybe that they should know?
In preparing for the next step and heading to college, there's so many pieces of advice. I'd love to sit down with every one of you one-on-one and talk to you about what you're going to face for the next 4 or 5 years, because I certainly wish someone had done that with me. But if I could sum it up in one statement, I would challenge every one of you who's leaving for college this summer or will be next summer or the year after that, I challenge you to become and to be a great decision maker. And what I mean by that is to understand that every decision you make has consequences. And there's a tomorrow for every today, and you have to live into the consequences of the decisions that you make, good or bad. And you can't do it all in college. You know, for me, I made a decision that school and football was going to become the ultimate priority for me. I wanted to excel at both. And as a result, at times my social life got put on the shelf. And I've actually at times regretted that I look back and say, man, you know, I probably didn't have as much fun in college as I wish I did. I didn't, socialize as much. I don't have as many of those lifelong friends from college. But football and school were the priority, and I made a decision to focus on that. And so I knew there was going to be a consequence for that. And I would challenge every single one of you to understand that every decision you make has a consequence. Every Friday night decision you make in college, every Saturday night decision, every early Monday morning decision, whether or not you're going to go to class, each decision has consequences. And eventually the life you live into will be a reflection of the decisions you made, especially during your college years. So learn to be a great decision maker. In order to do that, I would challenge you to go seek the wisdom of people who have already lived what you're about to go through. Start with your parents, go to your coaches, go to parents of friends, anybody you can find who you feel like can speak wisdom into your life. Go seek wisdom, go be a great question asker, and in doing that, you'll certainly gain wisdom and become a much better decision maker. And then, in addition to that, I challenge you to be a great reader. Read as much as you can. I still, to this day, love to read and try to learn as much as I can by reading. So I challenge you to read everything you can get your hands on, to learn to gain wisdom and discernment, and as a result, be a great decision maker. And if you do that, I think you'll enjoy the life you live into.
Now, what is something you learned in your high school or college days that has helped you the most in the NFL?
Well, when you look back at all that Coach D'Antonio taught me at Michigan State and all that my high school coaches and teachers taught me, there's so many lessons, so many phrases, so many quotes, so many teachable moments, but one that stands out to me because over the test of time it's proven true, and even in my most difficult moments I've had to rely on, and that's a phrase that I heard Coach D'Antonio and even Coach Izzo say many times, and that's, tough times don't last, tough people do. And we're all going to face adversity, and as you know, as athletes, it isn't just a smooth path. Even to those of you who have accepted awards tonight, there are challenges along the way, up and down, and you have to push through adversity. And tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I think for me, I had to live that reality just in the last couple of years. You know, in my third year in the NFL, I got the chance to play, and I didn't play very well, and I was benched. And I remember in that moment, standing on the sidelines, recognizing the challenge that it was to continue to stay the course and continue to persist. And so tough times don't last, tough people do has become very real to me. And to the degree that I can continue to play football going forward at a high level, that phrase will continue to be true. So I guarantee every single one of you, if you're going to continue playing your sport in the coming years, you're going to face adversity. But remember that phrase and choose to be a tough person.
It's been quite the era for Spartan football, and also with guys going to the NFL, with yourself, Le'Veon Bell, and others making their mark at the next level. What has that been like to see and be a part of?
It's been a thrill to watch teammates play in the NFL, to watch Le'Veon Bell become like the player in the NFL, which is no surprise, by the way. When I watched him, I had a front row seat to watch him do what we knew he could do back at Michigan State. But when I arrived at Michigan State in 2007, they hadn't been to a bowl game in several years, and Coach D'Antonio just instantly, kind of turned the program in the right direction. And it took time, but it's very gratifying to see the success and to watch from a distance now. I mean, every Saturday in Washington, D.C., as I'm getting ready for our Sunday game, I turn on the Spartans and I watch the whole afternoon and cheer them on. And just to see the success, the consistent winning, a program that's doing it the right way, it's so gratifying. And I'm so proud to say I'm a Spartan. And believe me, around the NFL, when you talk to coaches, scouts, when you say you're from Michigan State, instant respect because they know the program that Coach D'Antonio has built, from the strength staff to the academic staff to the coaches themselves. It really says a lot when you say I'm a Spartan around NFL circles. So that's the kind of respect that I think Coach and myself and many of the people involved we're trying to build in the program, and it's very gratifying to see what's taken place. And it helps when you get talented players, and obviously that's been shown by the success of many guys now in the NFL.
Now, you've regularly returned back to Michigan in the offseason and conducted numerous camps. How important has the aspect been of returning to your roots and giving back?
Well, Michigan means a great deal to me. I mean, I grew up, went to high school here in West Michigan, went to college here, and so I miss Michigan. You know, I love Virginia, I love living out near D.C. It's a great place, but when the season ends, I like to get back home, and that's where I want to be. So my wife's from Atlanta, she's from Georgia, so we made a deal. In the winter, we go to Atlanta. In the summer, we get to Michigan. And we'll see how long we can keep that going. But I just love coming back home, and it means so much to me. And, people call it giving back or, trying to, basically, be obligated to make a difference. I really don't feel it like that. I mean, it's a thrill for me to be able to come back, host a youth football camp in my hometown, come back and do some leadership camps here in Lansing and Grand Rapids. I just love it, and it's a great opportunity, and football's given me a great platform to try to make a difference. And I think every single one of us, that's all we want to do is make a positive difference for other people in the lives that we live. And fortunately, football's given me a great opportunity to do that, and I want to make good on that as long as I have the chance.
One of the big sound bites of the NFL season was, you like that comment following a win. Were you surprised by how that comment blew up?
Was I surprised by how that comment blew up? I was shocked. To tell you the story, it happened. I go into the locker room, I talk to the media, head out to the car, and I had several family and friends at the game, and they said, your video's everywhere. It's all over social media. And I said, what video? Like, what did I do? And they said, you like that thing. And I said, that was on camera? Like, I didn't even know that it was being taped. And they said, oh, yeah, not only is it on camera, it's everywhere. So sure enough, we get home, and I assume like many things on social media, in a matter of hours, it's just going to die. And it didn't. And the next day, it was still going. And so we were able to capitalize on the moment. And we partnered with a ministry in Washington, D.C. called IJM, International Justice Mission, that helps the poor and the oppressed all over the world. And we were able to kind of put them on display and sell T-shirts that said, you like that. and then donate all the proceeds to the organization. We were able to donate over $40,000 to IJM and to their work. So it was just a great opportunity to make a positive difference. And that's what I'm talking about, is just using that opportunity to make a difference, to leverage, great moments and a great fan base and the Redskins fan base to really have impact. And again, I thought it would die. I thought once the movement happened and we made the donation, I thought it would die. And then came the playoff game, and they made "You Like That" towels, and there were 70,000 towels in the stadium where people were waving that said "You Like That" on it. And we'll see where it goes from here. Who knows? But I'm sure if we win football games, it'll stay alive for a while.
Describe the persistence and how you managed to stay the course with the Redskins to get where you are now as a starter.
Yeah, the persistence, it's certainly a lot of it goes back to, the phrase "tough times don't last, tough people do," understanding that, it doesn't all come our way right when we want it. We've got to go earn it. But that also brings me to a message I would want to give to all the high school athletes, high school students, and it's that entitlement word. I think in our society, many times people who are treated with special privilege start to believe that they are special and they deserve better treatment than other people and they are better than other people. And it's a nasty thing when entitlement starts to creep into an organization or to a team. And so I think we, especially high achievers in this room tonight, you're being rewarded and you're being recognized for your talent, and rightfully so. I love when we celebrate excellence. I think we need to celebrate excellence more in society. But when we become the recipients of that celebration, I think it's a challenge that I want to issue to all of you, to challenge yourselves not to say, okay, because I'm a recipient of that praise, I am better than other people, but to instead say, this is a responsibility now that I have to live into, to represent that opportunity the right way. And so I guess my challenge to all of you would be to understand that, things aren't always going to go your way. When they do, accept it with humility and with responsibility. And when they don't choose to be a victim. Choose to find a way to fix it. And that was my situation. As things didn't go my way, I didn't say the poor me's and blame the coaches or blame the situation or blame teammates. It was, no, take ownership for your mistakes. I've got to fix it. And when you do that, usually good things happen in the long run.
You're coming off your best season as a professional. How has that changed your approach?
Well, I appreciate you saying that I came off a great year. It was a lot of fun. It was a great season. And I don't know that my approach should change a whole lot. If previously I wasn't working hard at practice and suddenly I am, then we got problems, or vice versa. So I definitely feel a sense of urgency now as a starting quarterback to make good on that opportunity and to have some sustained success. We talked about it at Michigan State. It feels very similar to my early years starting at Michigan State. We're trying to build something. We had a taste of success last year. By no means was it as far as we want to go. And so now the challenge is, can we do it again? And can we have enough professionals on our team who can not just be successful one year, but do it in year 2? And then the great ones do it in year 3, and year 4, and year 5. And so that's the challenge that I've issued to myself and we've issued to each other and the team is, can we chase sustained success where people around the NFL expect the Redskins to be there at the end of the year? And that's the kind of challenge that we're excited to take on this fall, and we're working very, very hard to get there. But it reminds me very much so of my early years at Michigan State and what we were trying to build, and that worked out pretty well, so hopefully we can do it again.
Describe what the atmosphere has been like in D.C., especially after helping get the Redskins back into the postseason last year.
Well, Washington, D.C. and the Redskins, they have 3 Super Bowls, and they've been a franchise since the 1930s, so they have a tremendous fan base, a lot of history. When we play on the road, we always have Redskins fans that travel, and so much like Michigan State, there's a tremendous amount of history and tradition, and it's a thrill to play for that. And as a result, when you win, things go well. When you lose, not so well. But, that's as Coach D'Antonio used to say, you take the good with the bad, and we understand that. But obviously, life's good in Washington, D.C. when you're winning football games, and that's the goal going forward. But, as a quarterback and as anybody in life, you just can't ride that roller coaster. You're going to win, you're going to lose, and life's going to go like this. And it's always a challenge for me to just stay steady. Just, don't get too high, don't get too low. It's a weakness to get caught up in praise or criticism. So I just try to stay steady through it all, and I think that serves me well and will serve any athlete well.
East Lansing is obviously a very special place for you. What's it like coming back here and looking back at what you were a part of and helping to elevate MSU football?
Yeah, it certainly is a moment when we land here on the plane, and as we're coming in over Lansing, I look down on the campus and I see the stadium and the indoor facility where I spent countless hours throwing the football and working with receivers and getting up at Case Hall at 4:50 in the morning to go lift weights with Coach Manny and wondering why in the world am I doing this in February. So all those memories just flood back, and the emotions and the hard work and the ups and the downs, and you just look back and you're just so grateful. More than anything, you're grateful for the people. I was fortunate enough to be around great people, and Coach D'Antonio used to always say, at the end of the day, while talent is important, facilities are important, you win with people. You have to have the right people in your organization, and because of the fact that Coach D'Antonio was a great person and he surrounded himself with great people, we always had a chance. And as you are leaders on your high school teams, and someday we'll be on your college teams, choose to set that example that people want to follow so that your teams can be filled with the right kind of people so that hopefully you two can win both on the field and off.
Thank you, Kirk. Your advice and stories are something these young athletes can relate to as they take their next steps, whether that's a new season or a new challenge as they adjust to college and beyond. We appreciate you and your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Cousins.
Thank you.